Ah, yes, another exhausting chapter in the endless saga of Logan Paul being undeserving of his platform. Let's dive in, shall we? All right. Faking his death in front of his child fans, not today. The Japanese forest, no. The animals he's abandoned. I think I have a few more chapters to go through here. Cryptozoo situation, no. The ongoing lawsuit with coffeezilla, I don't believe that's it. Oh, we're getting very close. Ah, yes. The Amani Khalif tweets. Hello, ladies, men, and non-binary friends. Welcome back. This is actually the very first time that I'm talking about Logan Paul on this channel, but unfortunately for me, it probably won't be the last. Because this man's career is like a cockroach. No matter how many times you think it might be dead, he just has a way of crawling back. I talked about this in my Mr. Beast video, but it seems we've created a new era of influencers that are uncancelable, no matter how many controversies they seem to get wrapped up in. But let's get into today's topic. Last Thursday in the Paris Olympics, Imani Khalif and Angela Carini competed in a women's boxing match. Carini dropped out of the fight after 46 seconds. Carini also gave an emotional interview. She was crying about her deceased father. And you know what white women's tears do for the internet. As a white woman myself, I know this effect quite well. This sparked outrage on anti-trans Twitter with comments calling Imani Khalif transgender, not once assuming that Carini is just a worse athlete and perhaps not prepared for the fight. The comments came from the usual suspects: Donald Trump, no surprise there, JK Rowling, par for the course, Elon Musk, of course, any excuse to yap online, and well. What's this? Logan Paul, the one and only. This is the purest form of evil unfolding right before your eyes. A man was allowed to beat up a woman on a global stage, crushing her life's dreams while fighting for her deceased father. This delusion must end. But it might surprise you to find out that Imani Khalif is not a man. She's also not transgender. She is a female. She has lived her life as a female, as a woman, her entire life. She was assigned female at birth. She has a female passport. She is the exact example of a biological woman that conservatives are allegedly trying to protect. Even if she was trans, which she is not, this is some really disgusting and harmful rhetoric, which Logan Paul rightfully got backlash for. Oopsies, I might be guilty of spreading misinformation along with the entirety of this app. Again, the classic, not taking any sort of accountability or even apologizing for saying harmful and incorrect shit. Although she's been previously disqualified for failing a, quote, gender test and has XY chromosomes, also not true. Some sources, vague, does not actually cite any real actual sources. Some sources say Imani Khalif was born a biological woman. I stand by my sentiment. And then he cites a screenshot from a website that we don't know, from a source we can't see, that says that Imani Khalif was disqualified for having XY chromosomes, which again, she does not have. And for someone who says that they stand by their sentiment, that original tweet is nowhere to be found, completely deleted. So he clearly doesn't stand by it that much. And this new tweet is also riddled with misinformation, which I'm happy to break down for all of you today. Imani Khalif does not have XY chromosomes, despite so many people online claiming that she does. There is absolutely no verifiable source that is claiming this. But where the hell did these rumors even start? I'm so glad you asked. Banned governing body that's fueling outcry on Olympic boxers has Russian ties and troubled history. Unlike Logan Paul, I've actually linked my sources. They're available in the description if you'd like to check it out for yourself, which I encourage you to do. The allegations that Olympic boxers Imani Khalif and Li Yuting failed an eligibility test for women's competition have been made by only the International Boxing Association. So we're gonna get into this. Nearly 17 months ago in New Delhi, Algerian boxer Imani Khalif was disqualified from the International Boxing Association's World Championship 3 days after she won an early round bout with Azalea Ameneva, a previously unbeaten Russian prospect. That's an interesting coincidence. The disqualification meant Ameneva's official record was perfect again. Did I mention that this was a Russian organization? The IBA said Khalif and fellow boxer Lin Yuting of Taiwan had failed, quote, to meet the required necessary eligibility criteria and were found to have competitive advantages over other female competitors. The governing body claimed the fighters had failed unspecified eligibility tests. They did not actually say what the tests were. the same tests that ignited a massive controversy about gender regulations and perception in sports this week as Khalif and Lin compete at the Paris Olympics. The IBA's decision last year, and its curious timing, particularly related to Ami Neva's loss to Khalif, would have raised warning signs around the sport world if more people cared about amateur boxing or even knew about the IBA under President Umar Kremlev of Russia. The entire boxing world has already learned to expect almost anything from the Russian-dominated governing body that was given the unprecedented punishment of being permanently banned from the Olympics last year. In fact, this organization hasn't run an Olympic boxing tournament since the Rio de Janeiro Games in 2016. They have literally been kicked out by the Olympics for the shady shit that they have done. The non-boxing world largely doesn't know, however, about the IBA's decades of troubled governance and long-standing accusations of a thorough lack of normal transparency in nearly every aspect of its dealings, particularly in recent years. Many people took the IBA's proclamations about Khalif and Lin at face value while dragging the eligibility dispute into wider clashes about gender identity. The International Olympic Committee has decades of mostly bad history with the beleaguered governing body previously known for decades as AIBA, and it has exasperatedly begged non-boxing people to pay attention to the sole source of the allegations against Khalif and Lin. These two athletes were victims of a sudden and arbitrary decision by the IBA. Such an approach is contrary to good governance. On Saturday, IOC President Thomas Bach said it was, quote, totally unacceptable. The two boxers have faced what he called hate speech in a, quote, politically motivated uproar. The IOC has stuck with the previous incarnation of boxing's governing body through decades of judging scandals, bizarre leadership decisions, and innumerable financial misdeeds while it presided over Olympic boxing tournaments. Not until 2019, nearly 2 years after the organization elected a president with what U.S. officials called deep ties to Russian organized crime and heroin trafficking, did the IOC finally banish the perpetually troubled group. The group changed its name and elected Kremlev, a Russian boxing functionary, and an acquaintance of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ooh! As I was reading this, I was like, it just gets juicier and juicier. The IOC permanently stripped IBA's Olympic credentials and ran the past 2 Olympic boxing tournaments with a task force. But Kremlev has seized his opportunity this summer to call into question the IOC's governance over the Paris boxing tournament while stoking the wider outcry raised around Khalif and Lin. Kremlev also has made additional allegations about the gender of both fighters without providing proof. And people across the world have accepted his word. That's unbelievably frustrating to veteran boxing executives like Boris van der Vorst, the Dutch businessman leading world boxing. Van der Vorst ran for the presidency of the IBA only for his candidacy to be inexplicably declared invalid. People have misidentified Khalif and Lin as men or transgender. It's not very respectful for the boxers who are competing here, to Chinese, Taipei, and Algeria, to speak about them in these terms. That's what I'm trying to stress, Van der Vorst told the Associated Press. So much is unclear about the IBA's decision to ban Khalif and Lin last year, particularly since both had competed in IBA events for years without problems. They were competing in the same competitions. They never had any issues. The only time Khalif got tested and banned was after she beat a Russian boxer who had a perfect record. And once she was banned, that perfect record was reinstated. Along with all the other shady bureaucratic shit that's going on with this organization, it is wild to see anybody put any sort of reasonable argument behind these literal rumors that have absolutely no backing in fact. The IBA has refused to officially say what, when, or where these tests were administered, who evaluated them, and what the results meant. So there you go. None of these claims or rumors are based in any sort of fact, and the only organization that is spouting this bullshit is filled with controversies and is super fucking shady, refusing to provide any sort of proof that these claims are valid. And before y'all started yapping on Twitter claiming she was a man, no one gave a shit about this. No one gave a fuck until Logan Paul, Elon Musk, and JK Rowling started talking about it. And for anyone online being like, why are you only targeting Logan Paul? Why aren't you talking about Elon Musk and JK Rowling? I would say that most people in my circles can agree that Elon Musk and JK Rowling suck. And anti-trans shit is also like their thing. Like it's their brand. Elon Musk also has some other shit going on, but JK Rowling has committed to her brand for sure. But Logan Paul, for whatever reason, seems to slip under the radar whenever he says terrible shit like this. He has maintained longevity on each of his platforms despite being a terrible fucking person, in my opinion. Despite having more controversies than most people have farts in a month, he is repeatedly heralded for, quote, turning his life around and getting it together, which I don't know if this is just because I'm chronically online, but do y'all have fucking short-term memory loss? He's literally suing CoffeeZilla for calling him out on not doing things he said he was gonna do. He said he was gonna refund people that got caught up in the crypto zoo shit, He never did. And then coffeezilla was like, hey, you're not doing this thing. He's literally trying to like sue coffeezilla out of existence. There's a really good video that Legal Eagle came out with. I'm gonna link that in the description below that explains it a lot better and all the legal terms behind it. But like, this is like recent. He's not a good person. There's also gonna be people online that are like, I don't give a shit about what Logan Paul says. No one should be listening to him anyway. I agree, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Like, this man has millions of followers on all of his platforms. There are people who are listening to him say harmful shit and complete lies online and will take it as fact and not investigate it further. So for as long as I have a microphone and an internet connection, I'm gonna come on here and explain why the fuck he's wrong. Because he does have this redemption arc image that gives him points in the court of public opinion. And I'm tired of these influencers playing dumb and acting like what they say doesn't matter. Like their millions of followers don't have an effect on how these very serious topics are discussed. This is also not the first time women have been wrongfully targeted and even penalized for being too masculine despite being born female. Serena Williams, Beatrice Massalingi, Castor Semenya, Christine Mbama. These are all natural born women, all assigned female at birth, all cisgender. These are the women that the anti-trans movements are allegedly trying to protect, and yet they are the ones that are receiving the most scrutiny because they're not feminine enough. Like, these are all women that have been harassed and had their wins contested due to their exceptional athletic prowess. Do I have to fucking remind you that these are athletes competing with natural advantages in the worldwide competitions almost exclusively comprised of people who have those types of natural advantages? Height advantages, muscle type advantages. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the other part that is just extremely upsetting is that the vast majority of the women that are receiving this level of scrutiny are women of color. It is a worrying trend, women of color being targeted and having their gender questioned. Which doesn't really surprise me because this idea that women have to be petite and feminine and demure and submissive is a white supremacist ideal. This is not new, but it is fucking gross and it makes no sense. Because why are the same people that complain about everyone getting participation trophies getting mad when a woman of color has a genetic advantage and wins fair and square? Like, she's just better. Maybe work harder. Stop crying about it. And the main reason why I'm talking about this is not actually because I can't stand Logan Paul. That is true, but it's not the reason why I made this video. It's also not because I'm passionate about protecting trans people. Again, that is true, but it's not the reason I made this video. The real reason why I'm making this video is because of the blatant spread of misinformation like wildfire. To fuel a hateful and frankly nonsensical agenda is fucking dangerous, especially when it has no basis in fact. It is so easy to do a cursory Google search to just try and verify a story just to make sure it's true. If you hear something fucking wild online, just Google it. See what comes up. Then do a quick scroll of the fucking articles. Are they reputable? Or is it like the fucking Daily Mail? Where are these articles getting information? Are they actually saying what the sources are? If they don't name the papers or the articles or the sources where they're getting their information, if it's not a first-hand source, if the stats they're presenting aren't attached to a legitimate scientific organization, do not trust them. There's probably some shady shit going on. Let me know if you want a video on this because I feel like the internet fucking needs it, but I don't know if anyone would watch that. And the fact that even print media, like the Boston Globe, got something as simple as this wrong, this is fucking embarrassing. And everyone should be afraid of the state of media distribution in this country, in the world. It should not have gotten this far. It should not have gotten this bad. Because there was no proof. There was no proof. And it's wild that this story got so out of hand to the point where this woman was receiving so much hate online. Not even to mention the fact that in Algeria, it is illegal to be LGBTQ, any identity within the LGBTQ community. Being trans, straight up illegal. There was no way for her to actually get that fucking procedure done. And if she stepped into that country and someone found out that she was trans, if she was trans, she would be fucking killed. Like, this is the shit that gets people killed. This is unacceptable. As with most modern conservative ideology, none of this fear-mongering is based in actual fact. None of it is relevant to what Americans are actually struggling with day to day, inflation, wage disparity, housing prices, etc. And it's based in nonsensical, white supremacist fear of otherness. And at the end of the day, It's just fucking weird. And Logan Paul, you are complicit in this. I'm begging for you to get off the internet and just shut the fuck up. Instead of spreading hateful and incorrect shit online, maybe get back to training. It looks like you need it. As always, I have Rawan's GoFundMe linked below. She was supposed to attend university this year, but Israel bombed her home and her school out of existence. If you are not able to donate, make sure to leave a like and a comment to boost the algorithm, because there's got to be someone on this godforsaken app that can give $1 or $2. I'm currently running a D&D campaign where all the ad revenue goes to Palestinian families, so by literally watching D&D, you are helping people in Palestine. Linked below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Please take care of yourselves.